Humanity is currently facing an environmental crisis. This isn't news. However, despite numerous warnings from accredited scientists or even just visibly watching entire ecosystems being destroyed, many of us sit in silence and shrug it off. However, this threat is real, and real changes need to be made. I know it's quite natural to think how we can individually impact such a big issue in our society, but the truth is that even just a small change could have a big impact. I know this may sound far-fetched, but just the way that we construct our diets can make big changes environmentally and even for our own health and well-being. This can be done by reducing our consumption of red meats and instead pushing towards a more lean and plant-based diet. And if you're like me, then hearing this might put you off. I grew up in a household where we would commonly eat red meat and it dominated our dinner table. But after hearing about the potential impact that having a lean and plant-based diet can have on the environment and on my own health, I quickly made the change. I went from consuming red meat multiple times a week to only having it a few times a month. It was a big change, but the most surprising thing was that a lot of my favorite foods, I didn't even notice that many changes in the taste. And to fully understand how a plant-based and lean diet can impact the environmental crisis, it is important to understand the detrimental factors that the livestock sector has on for sustainability. A leading influence on climate change is the release of fossil fuels. And in a study accessed through Climate Nexus, in an average American diet, beef creates 1,984 pounds of carbon dioxide equivalent annually. Replacing beef with plants can reduce this figure by 96%, making it down to just 73 pounds. That is quite the difference. Climate change isn't the only thing impacted by animal agriculture, because water is also greatly affected. Mercy for Animals, an animal welfare group, states that 20 to 33% of all fresh water is consumed just for animal agriculture. To break this down, just 1 pound of beef is the equivalent of 1,800 gallons of water. Comparing this to chicken, which is just 468 gallons of water per pound, and even less is tofu, which is only 330 gallons per pound. While having a lean and plant-based diet is great for the environment, it is also good for our own well-being and health. Consumer Reports states how there is a strong body of support for the idea that having a plant-based diet helps with decreasing the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. It also helps in maintaining a healthy body weight. It is humanity's necessity and responsibility to have a sustainable future. This can be done individually with how we construct our diets. We need to construct diets that have more lean meats and have a plant-based structure. This can be done by substituting beef for plant-based alternatives such as tofu, or even just leaner meats such as chicken or turkey, which have a less impact on the environment. And the benefit of doing this is that many of your favorite meals will have no difference to taste or texture thanks to these alternatives. It really is a win-win. And as the world changes, we must too. We must change individually for our own welfare, for our local communities, and even for the entire world. So remember, next time that you're shopping at your local grocery store, that even a small change can have a big impact.